Ion Radio is on the air from the Hyatt Regency Hotel here in Schaumburg. It's the 2024 Star Wars Armada World Championship at AdeptiCon. Good morning, everyone, along with the 2022 Gen Con champion. I'm gonna pick on you for the rest of the day about that, John.
Gen Con finally has one again.
Right.
And welcome to the stream, everyone.
Yeah, and on behalf of Garrett and Adrian, who are table side, we were talking about this, you and your healthcare stuff. Yeah, John, you've got me doing it now.
I came up with an idea this morning. I'm like, what if we were doing this bedside? I'm like, yeah, that's wrong conversation. That's Monday morning.
Right. So I'm Ken, everyone, and welcome to the stream here. We're covering day 3, so the final day, round 1. There's only going to be 3 rounds today of Armada combat, and we're going to bring you, hopefully, 6 of the 8 players, but we may only get 4. Depends on how the standings go. So right now, we're going to cover a couple things here. We've got our 2 players, Nick and David, are going to be joining us today on Table 1. This is going to be our first battle. It is a General Grievous list, is what Nick has, and I believe David is a Akbar list.
Correct. Nick has the only CIS fleet that made top 8.
Correct. Everyone else is Imperials and Rebels. No Gar fleets
yes.
that have covered this at all. We do have the T4 link, so if you wanted to follow along, see some of the lists, you can. And all of that will be available, via the chat. If you have questions, let us know in chat. Please send us information regarding, or questions in chat if you have questions on board state and everything else. But I think the next thing we should do here, John, let's get to list, or should we do a recap of our top 8?
Let's do a quick recap of the top 8.
All right, here we go. Give me just a second. We're going to move that around, and we're transitioning here. Here is our top 8. John, you want to go through that?
Okay, we have Andy, and Andy's flying, I believe, an Ozzel fleet. We have Chris, and Chris is flying an Akbar fleet. We saw him yesterday on Game 4 of the channel, fighting his way into this tournament. Montana, I believe, can you click on it real fast? Yep, is a Grand Admiral Thrawn. We have a lot of different representation here today. Peter has an Agate list. Jackson has a Sloan list. Mackenzie has, I believe, a Thrawn list as well. And then you have Nick, who is present on stream, flying Grievous, and then Dawid flying Akbar.
Right. So we got a first question in the chat. Does this year's tourney mark the death of Slicer Tools? I don't know if we didn't see any Slicer Tools on stream.
No, I don't think we did. That's a good question. I think Slicer Tools are. We'll talk about this during the game. Let's get to the fleets. Hold that question. I'll write this down.
All right, should we cover, let's cover Nicholas's fleet first. So, John, go ahead.
Okay, so it is a fleet coming in at 394 points. It is a Providence-class carrier with General Grievous, Rune Hakau, thermal shields, intensify firepower, boosted comms, external racks, point defense ion cannons, H9 turbo lasers, invincible title, which allows him to take then early warning system. He has a hard cell transport, Hondo Anakas on it, projection experts, and bomber command center. And then he has a Gazanti with TI-99. Because we don't get that much CIS up on stream, TI-99 is when your squad's attacked. If it's not activated, you can activate it, and then you do, I believe, a counter 3 with them. So it makes it so that the fighter ball, the cheap little vultures, can be expendable and still get some value out before they go down. For squadrons, he has Wat Tambor, TFS 311, and I believe that's the one that gives you intel. Yes, when you are defending, if the attack is obstructed, you may force the attacker to reroll 1 die of your choice. That's its special ability, but what it actually is providing is intel so you can move your squadrons around. And then he has 4 Hyena bombers and 6 Vulture droid fighters.
Getting some information updates here from the, here's an interesting one. Close range intel scan.
We will have to look that one up.
That is one we do not see often. So actually, since we happen to have this, let's just go ahead and you're right, it's here. Wrong button.
Okay. Close range intel scan setup. Place obstacles, adding 2 dust fields as normal. Special rules. While one of the second player ships is attacking a ship, the attacker may spend one accuracy icon. If it does, the attacker gains 1 victory command token. While one of the first player ships is attacking a ship, the attacker may spend 2 dice with accuracy icons. If they does, the attacker gains 1 victory token. So for second player, they can spend 1 accuracy to gain tokens. For the first player, it is 2 accuracies, and each token is worth 10 points.
So we will probably be covering that again as we move through the stream. But let's now take a look at David's list here. So David has an Assault Frigate Mark IIB with Admiral Akbar, Intel Officer, Kaken and Sholin. We're getting the obstacles put out now. Electronic countermeasures, slaved turrets, MC-30 Scout Frigate, one of the almost best ships in the game. I prefer the Torpedo Frigate myself, but it's an outstanding ship.
I like Scout.
Well, difference of opinion there.
Yep.
So, Expert Shield Techs, Ordnance Expert, External Racks, H9 Turbo Lasers, and Foresight. This is very similar to how I tend to outfit my MC-30s. We also have, let's get the rest of the list here so that you guys can see it. The GR-75 medium transport with our favorite pirate, Hondo Onaka, and Comsnet. We also have a GR-75 medium transport with just Comsnet. And then when we get into our squadron ball, Lando Calrissian will lead the charge in the Millennium Falcon along with Jan Urs, Shara Bay, Tico Selshu, and 3 YT-2400 Rogue freighters. I believe that would qualify, right, John?
Yes. With these freighters, they're probably pirates. Okay, so let's jump back to Slicer Tool while we watch them deploy.
Sure.
One of the reasons I think we see less Slicer Tool is that more people are bringing tech to generate accuracies. You can see both of these fleets have upgrade cards that allow them to generate accuracies, and then with ships like that have Price and Empire, having accuracies is more available, which makes killing transports very, very easy. And most of the Slicer tools lived on like Rebel transports, but if you're going to just get one shot, even when you start getting close to being in range, then it just becomes too risky of an effect, and you have to plan more ahead with refreshing it to begin with on turn 1,
right,
and then keeping it refreshed. You can't just keep a ship permanently locked in being sliced. So I think that's one of the reasons why you see Slicer tools less now.
No, I would agree. While we're actually sitting here thinking about it, I'm going to pull up close range intel scan again, just because this is one of the objectives that we do not see very often. So let's make that a little bit bigger for you guys. Apologies. So again, close range intel scan. We're adding the 2 dust fields here, and dust fields you cannot fire through, right?
No.
Or is it? No, that's the one.
Dust fields you can't fire through.
Right. And then your special rules here. So second player, in this case Nick, our Grievous player, has to spend, may spend an accuracy, and then he'll gain a victory token. This is when he's attacking any ship, right? And then on the other hand, for David, it's first player, he has to spend 2 of his accuracy dice to gain that victory token. Each victory token is worth 10 points, and it's worth noting that when you spend these accuracies, you're removing them from the dice pool. So you're not able to use them to block any of the defense tokens. So there's situations where this may wind up coming into play. We're going to do our best to keep tabs of the victory tokens that are going to be being put out. But again, we're just kind of going through what we have here. Now, I believe Nick is at the top of the screen, David down at the bottom.
Yes, he is.
Nick right now is placing that looks to be his Sea-Rock, I think. Yep.
The Gazanti is coming in speed 2. Oh, sorry. Yeah. That is the Rebel player's fleet. David. Not Hondo, so that's just the plain old boring transport with comms now.
Well, now we're placing out some squadrons. That Gazanti on the CIS side is also moving at speed 2.
And we're putting out
2 YT-2400s. Kind of an overcast day here in Chicago.
Yeah. We've had quite the weather the last couple of days. We had snow on Friday. We had very bright but cold yesterday, and today is just overcast.
Rebel commander is Admiral Akbar. Mars, thank you very much. We are going to do our best again to cover all the action. So while you're kicking back watching us, shout out from us here in the booth.
Vultures are going down. This is going to be a lot of just fighters going down for a little bit. Both players have quite a fighter wing.
And a hyena there. YT and Jan Ors getting put down. I don't know if we've got a better camera angle for setup here because they're kind of deploying center of the field.
The CIS, one of the things that they can do very easily because of how inexpensive their fighters are, is you can just out-deploy pretty much anyone. Because let's click over to this fleet.
Tico. And what was the other one? And Shara.
He has 12 fighters.
Yeah.
So that means to deploy all of his fighters, he's on deployment 7 because he has to put a ship down first and then 6 deployments before any of his actual combat ships hit the game. Most fleets fall into that roughly 6 to 7 deployments for everything. And he's just still working on his squadrons.
I think so. What you have here is an advantage in terms of, all right, I'm going to throw everything I got out. I will know where your ships are, and then I can deploy my remaining 2 ships, your hard cell and your Providence carrier, without any real questions in terms of, all right, here we go. We're ready to rock and roll in terms of ships. There's the Hondo GR-75 getting put down in the corner there.
And the droids are still powering up their systems and launching fighters.
Switch over here for just a second. Maybe we can get a little bit of a view there. That's not bad, but you could see how all those squadrons are clustered up together. Once again, shout out to Atomic Mass Games, who is running all the Armada events out here. And special thanks as the MC30 gets put down at speed 2 for giving us the opportunity to come back here to AdeptiCon for the 2nd year to stream Star Wars Armada once again. And there goes that Guppy. Guppy coming down. We think the Guppy's going down.
The Guppy will be coming down in this deployment. He just has to decide exactly where he wants it to be. And I believe the rest will be Nick deploying the rest
more squadrons?
More squadrons, and then the rest of his ships.
Speed 2 on that assault frigate. So all the Rebel ships are moving at speed 2. We have it doesn't look like we have any special paint jobs here on any of the ships today.
The rest of the fleets will be going down shortly. And to note, I don't believe Nick has put down any of his aces either. He can just put out a bunch of generics
you get
that
5
Grievous doesn't care about.
Right, yeah. And it's 5 deployments of just generic cannon fodder. Where Grievous potentially we could utilize his special ability. Actually, there's a great idea, John. Let's bring up General Grievous, and we're going to talk about General Grievous a little bit while we're finishing up our setup. So General Grievous, when a friendly ship or squadron is destroyed, you may choose one friendly ship or a unique squadron. So that's going to be Watt, Tambor, or DFS 311. At distance 1 to 5, the destroyed ship or squadron. If you do, the chosen ship or unique squadron may either ready one of its defense tokens or recover one of its discarded defense tokens. And then it'll be an exhausted token that shows up. So this is a way that Grievous can kind of, by killing something else, you can kind of help out another ship. So
by killing, you mean sacrificing.
Well, sacrificing,
while he can run.
yeah.
Providence has been deployed and is going speed 2.
And keeping tabs here on everything going here on the field. More ships being deployed.
I think we just have hard sell and
I think
fighters
it's just
to
the hard
go.
sell. Or more fighters going down.
At the
There's DFS and Watt Tambor.
The first player in this match is going to be David. He is the Akbar player on the bottom of the screen. We are currently playing Nick, who's the Grievous player on the top of the screen's close range intel sweep.
Let us
scan.
Yep,
A lot of the intels are objectives get blurry.
It's one we don't see a lot of. And let us know how we sound, folks, because we want to make sure that we provide you with the best sound that we can.
Hard cells coming in at speed 1. This hard cell's there with the projection experts to pass shields over to the Providence. So it's going to be a support craft to the bombers and to the bigger Providence, which is going to be his primary combat ship.
Well, we just saw the handshake, and we are going to move into setting dials for turn 1, waiting for that first activation to come about. So if you look at the scoreboard, and again, here we have Nicholas and David, although because they were looking from the opposite end of the table, it's the other way around. But that's okay. So Nicholas is on your right in this view. David's on the left in this view. But they are flying the correct fleets respective to what they have here, moving into turn 1, waiting for that very first activation coming shortly. The Rebel and CIS national anthems have already been sung in the respective flagships.
Nick has 1 pass token, just for note. And for those that aren't aware how pass tokens work, is you compare the total amount of activations that your fleet has versus the other fleet. So for in this case, the Akbar fleet has a total of 4 activations, and the CIS fleet has 3 activations. If a player has less activations than the other player, they have a chance to earn pass tokens. They earn 1 pass token for each activation that they have less than the other player. And then there's a special rule that comes in that if you're first player, you get 1 less pass token of what you would receive. So because Nick has 3 ships and his opponent has 4, he gains 1 pass token to make up for that. If Nick was first player, though, he would not get any pass tokens. A pass token can be used as a way to, as it says, pass your activation back to the other player. It's spent and it is a once per game token.
Comsnet takes an engineering token, passes that over to the assault frigate, and away we go for round 1, day 3 competition. Hey, look, we actually got someone that went through all the lists here. 4 lists at Slicer Tools out of 114, 3% occurrence. Thank you very much for bringing us that information, Godfrey French. Much appreciated.
There's only 4 lists that had slicer tools. Is that what it said?
That's what it seems to be indicating. I've not actually looked at the numbers myself. Gazanti, Navigate, taking it as a token. Moving ahead, looks to be speed 2.
Yeah. The Gazanti's goal is to be there for the squadron battle so that he can use TI-99 to use counter or increase counter for the squadrons. It will activate them, but sometimes that might be a better attack than, just the unit itself dying because they're very squishy little tiny vultures.
John, how many times have we had battles where, the main attack doesn't do very much, and then you get into a situation where you're doing a counter 3 or counter 2, and you wind up decimating the person that you just attacked with. Okay, we have that Hondo GR75 takes a squadron, or shows a squadron, takes it as a token. Passes that over with CommsNet to the other Gazanti, or GR75. A little slow here at the get going. Again, we're opening rounds. Started about 20 minutes ago. We'll get your time as soon as we know what that is. Hard Sell takes a Concentrate Fire token.
And you have to remember with Rune Hakao on that Providence, he can just steal that on his activation. So we'll talk about Rune as well. So when you reveal a command, you may choose another friendly ship at distance 1 to 5. If you do, discard any number of command tokens from that ship, this card, or both to gain 1 matching command token for each discarded token. So he is just stealing tokens from other ships or taking him off the card himself. So you can put tokens on his card and have them prepped to be used later on, or you can steal from another ship. But the important thing is you still need a ship within range 5 to trigger him, even if you plan on just taking tokens off of him.
Keeping tabs on everything going on here, measuring some ranges here. MC30 shows a nav, takes that as a token. Making our speed 2 move here.
Rune currently has Confire and a Navigate token on his card.
Let's take a quick look. I believe we have this position in this side, so I'm going to move it over here just so that if we need to quick throw that up, it's out of the way, not in the action, but we will have our dice tray available for you guys to see as we move on. Nav, taking it as a token, that's on the Providence. Providence currently moving, I believe it's speed 2.
Correct.
Again, round 1 is mostly positioning, getting yourself set up for whatever your attack run is going to wind up being.
We'll see how. It will be interesting to see how much the objective comes into play here.
The close range intel scan. Yeah, I'm kind of interested myself. This is one that we don't see often. I don't think we play this one very often. This might be one of the few that if we've played once.
I don't roll accuracy, so I'm never going to put it in my fleet.
No, fair enough. But I'm curious to see 2 things here in this match that I think are going to be exciting and interesting for us and for you guys at home that are watching, or if you're in the hotel kicking back wanting to see what the Armada action is happening. I want to see how Grievous is utilized at this level of competitive play, and I also want to see how accuracies are spent to gain some of these victory tokens.
Yeah. Providence has EWS on the front of it currently. Just getting more information as we go.
Assault frigate is showing a nav, taking it as a token,
And
staying
moving
at speed 2.
As second player, I typically try to just straight up ignore the objective because the chances of you getting 2 accuracies is low. Okay, we also got word that the Providence took the Confire token from the hard sell with Rune Hakao, which is what we were talking about earlier when we were discussing that.
It's like we have ESPN, John. It's early, folks. I have not had my first cup of coffee. I'm drinking tea, coating my throat so that I can survive for the next 6 hours or so, giving you all the action. I intend on being in the booth the entire rest of the day. Sorry, I'm interrupting you, John.
I don't remember what I was talking about. The objective. As second player, it's very unlikely that I'll be getting 2 objective or accuracies, and I most of the time feel that using those 2 accuracies would be more beneficial. As the second player, you have a little bit more agenda to decide if you want to block a token or if you want to spend them out.
A Sharabe that moved forward onto the station. Taking a look at all the different possibilities here for squadron movement. Round started at about 8 a.m., so we're roughly 20-25 minutes into the first round. A lot of Armada to go. And I think this is going to be, once again, I'm expecting a tight competitive field.
Yes,
not really anticipating. This is Tycho moving forward.
I think Nick is going to have to be careful here because if Shara gets thrown into the middle of all of his droids, they're pretty much going to be stuck there. But he has the intel officer to make his squadrons have grit, so then he will only need to remove one other squadron around them. So it's going to be interesting to see how he deploys and how he moves his squadrons.
I am legitimately curious how DFS 311 is going to get used in here, and I think I agree with you.
It's going to be avoiding Shara.
Right. We got those hyenas moving forward. And now here's another thing to keep in mind with a lot of these. The hyenas have the AI battery one, so when they're attacking a ship, they get that extra bombing die. The vultures, which does include DFS 311, have AI anti-squadrons, so it's like having a built-in flight controllers.
Yes, it is. Well, you can choose which color die you would want to add as well.
Mm-hmm.
So for DFS, it's going to be a black die because his battery is a red and a black.
Mm-hmm. And statistically speaking, your black die is going to give you 1 damage on average. Your red will do 0.75. 2 YTs moving forward. Unless you're me, then your my statistic average for a black die is about 0.7 and 0.16 on the red, or 1.6 on the reds.
That is for attacking with a ship.
Equally true. When I start rolling, my Z95s are horrible. There's more hyenas moving forward. So correction here. John kindly reminded me
This is your squadron attacks.
The squadron attacks are not as good because you need to do regular hits. Well, what I was doing, John, is I was providing the information for everyone that wanted to know what happens with Shara's counter, which is a little bit greater, 0.75 off her blue dice as opposed to 0.5. And this, folks, is why I play Armada with John, because he corrects me with these things. And it's important to learn how to play the game. When you've got a master of command, it's very helpful. still here in turn 1.
The squadron phase.
In the squadron phase.
Deciding how to move these squadrons.
And, you know, you've got so many of them that I can see how this is going to be a little problematic, trying to figure out exactly how, what, where that we're looking to move things.
Do you spread them out? Do you clump them together? Where do you put these squadrons?
And, you know, I'm sitting here looking and thinking about David's squad ball. You got Janors, you're going to keep her back. You've got your 3 YT 2400s, which have the rogue on it. Char and Tico are going to be your primary means, I think, of attacking your squadrons. But then you also have Lando, who you kind of want to hold in reserve until you can go up and maybe try and knock out the Sea Rock in the back. Or actually, that's kind of dead center here. Or you can maybe use that as a finishing blow for that hard sell.
Yeah, it's also a way to bypass if you really want to scatter token for an enemy squadron as well. Because they would not be able to scatter that.
No, you would not. Because as soon as you place that Lando die, I mean, that's stuck. It cannot be impacted in any way, shape, or form. Bomber Command is going to have an impact. A little bit neat view, covering a little bit more of the battlefield there. See if we can get a slightly different. You know what? Actually, I think, John, this one is going to be more interesting.
Those ships are also making it difficult for Char to have a place to land, and if she does land, she'll be heavily in flak zones.
All right, we are now moving into turn 2, folks. So right now, 1/6 of the way through the game. Keeping tabs on everything. We're going to see if we can't adjust some of the focus on these things. That'd be to help you out.
The players are just making a decision now.
Setting our dials and everything else. It's kind of, you know, this is a thinking game for these opening turns.
Yes, it is.
And it's going to be tough to. You're trying to outthink your opponent here.
But then you get into the Princess Bride dilemma of I know what you know, and you know what I know, and I know that you know that I know. So you know that I know that you know that I know. So what do you do?
John, me personally, I develop an immunity to iocane powder. But good morning, Brian. This is top 8 here at Worlds. We went through the list earlier. Hang on, we're seeing what we've got. I believe we're doing some Hondo action. This is Hondo on Nick's side. No?
He asked.
He asked about Hondo.
No.
Okay.
Providence keeps. EWS is on the front. We're going to go with the Hondo GR first, and it's doing a nav token. And passing it over to the assault.
Squad token.
Squad token, sorry. Taking a token and passing it over to the assault frigate. We are still very much so in the preparation for what will be, I think, a very fast squad battle. I think one of the players is going to get dominance over the other almost immediately. But I can't tell you which one of those is. I don't think it's going to be a very long, drawn-out squad battle. I think it's going to be a quick one.
I'm inclined to agree with you here, John. I think what we're going to see, well, like you said, you get the squads come in. It's going to be like an episode of Star Wars Clone Wars, where the squadrons come in. You have a giant battle in the middle, and then as the slower ships start to approach, and then they impact whatever's been left. Brian, thank you very much for being here with us all weekend long. We've been this is game 13 that we're broadcasting. We have the heart cell showing a navigation dial, taking it as such. And just peeking into screen here. I'm going to go back up to the overhead, giving you guys a sense of where everything is. Watt is a difficult squadron to bring down. At 5 points is escort, but it's the screen that helps out. And screen's kind of one of those new keywords that came out with CIS, where when you're defending for all squadrons or friendly squadrons that you're the attackers engaged with, that does not have screen, and you can gain dodge 1, but you max it at 3.
Correct. And dodge allows you to force the opponent to re-roll attack dice. And it's a all at one time ability, not just I can't have you re-roll the same dice 3 times. It will be I can have you re-roll 3 dice at once.
Making decisions on what ship we are activating next here. David cut with a we've got the GR75 without Hondo, showing a squadron, taking that as a dial.
It already has a squadron token.
So are we going to see 3 squads get activated? Oh, Comsnet's the token to the MC30.
Okay.
No squadron activations.
No, it's...
I think it was the other one that had the squadron.
It passed the token as well, so... He probably just had it prepped just in case he needed to throw those squadrons right now, and decided to wait and prepare for another turn.
Looks like the Nyx or Gozer being activated here. Moving ahead at speed 1, I believe, but let's see, we have a nav dial. Yep. Still early, no tokens have been picked up. Maybe contemplating a speed change here. One of the interesting things, folks, from our vantage views with all the screens and monitors we have no idea what the battlefield actually looks like without standing up. Dropping down to speed 1. So we're reliant upon the many cameras we have to see the action on the battlefield. We're going to not go through those with you guys, but we are going to sit down and try and provide you with the best, clearest picture of what the action is going on at the time. I'm also going to use this opportunity to remind everyone that there is a rule being implemented here at Worlds for 2024. The assault frigate is showing a nav dial. You taking it as the dial. We may see an increase here. I'm going to go back to the overhead just because this might have an impact with that dust field there. But at the conclusion of 2 hours of play, no new rounds can begin.
That is correct.
We have seen this. We saw it a lot yesterday. 2 games that did not make it into round 6. And this is just one of those rules in the interest of keeping time going, and we don't want to have 3 hours in between each round. So there's only a 15-minute break between them, which is why we've been streaming almost non-stop for the last 3 days.
That dust field is placed in a way that it's going to make it difficult for the assault frigate to get any shots out.
Because you're either going... with that assault frigate looking about where that is, you're in the position where you're either going to stay to the right of that dust field, and you'll have shots against the Gazanti, protected from the Providence, or you're going to cut through that dust field, and you'll be able to take your Akbar shots at the Providence or the hard cell, potentially.
Even with that maneuver, I don't know, because it's where line of sight's traced to
Equally
from,
true.
so it might just clip that dust field.
And still be covered.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to find out. We'll know as soon as he makes the final decision in movement, and I think this might be it. No, not quite. This is where, again, critical moves here in these early turns. This is what's going to make or break someone's game.
Yes, it is.
I believe that is a decision there. Do we have an increase in speed, or are we going to stay at speed 2? We're staying at speed 2.
So in a way, he is protected for this round as well.
Right. Because that Gozer's already moved, so there won't be any attacks there for this round. Looks to be long range. And a pass token is used. So that is the one opportunity, one pass token that Nick had. Pass token rule implemented in the 1.5 rules update a few years ago. MC30 showing a nav, taking it as a dial. Actually, I might be incorrect. Those look like the MC30 may have a little bit of paint on there, a little bit of a blue tint to them. It's a teal-ish color.
He's going to try to maneuver this 30 so that he can get Akbar shots next turn and hopefully not take any fire from that Providence this round.
Let's go to the overhead. I think it's going to give us a better picture. Yeah, you want to avoid right now that front arc, but you also have that asteroid sitting right there. Now, the MC30 is currently moving at speed 3, so I don't think he'll necessarily bump into it at this speed, at least not looking at it from this angle. But it is distinctly possible that if you place this wrong, that could be a very hurting, if not removed, MC30 from the attacks that you could have within 2 turns.
Here we go, locking in, moving speed 2. So a slower approach at this point.
I think we're just in long range. Looks like we are, yeah.
Yeah.
I suspect we only have side arc shot, though. I don't know that we can hit from the front, giving the angle. Yeah.
Long range at the center.
No dice rolled yet. I think we're going to start seeing that probably next turn, maybe the beginning here. Providence nav.
Has a nav dial. Part of me wonders, will we see him just move forward, ram, and stay exactly where he's at?
Could be why. Side to front of the MC30. Okay, we have a crit and a blank. H9. Here's our intel shot, I think. So that's one victory token for Nick.
Do you want to? Yep. So I'm going to have Ken keep track of that on our end. So that's one token. And this is the benefit of being second player in this.
Right.
That shot wasn't going to do anything probably anyway against an MC30 at long range with only 2 dice. But if you can get that accuracy, that's 10 points.
Right, and if you get lucky and you get 2 accuracies, I think, can you only do it once per? Yeah. And with an MC30, you've got double redirect, double evade. You need 2 accuracies just to
You almost
do
need
anything.
4 accuracies to do any damage to the ship.
Well, I mean,
Especially with foresight. Like, an evade can cancel 2 dice
2
out.
dice at
so
once.
So you need at least 2.
I don't think Nick's looking to ram into, well, it depends on the speed that we've got here. I think that Providence is currently moving at speed 2. But he does have the nav token.
Nav token and a dial.
Checking ranges, making sure that we are staying within where we want to be.
He's trying to figure out where exactly he wants to move this ship. With him,
Getting some news here from the field here.
Adrian's impressed by the changing the dice to the accuracy with H9s to gain the victory points. But that's why this objective's in this list, because you can take shots that don't matter.
What I'm actually sitting here thinking, John, is because I've never really put 2 and 2 together with H9s and close range intel scan, because usually they're on my MC30s, and I'm using it to hit that one power attack so I can get that accuracy and knock out the brace of the redirect depending on what I'm doing. This might be an excellent opportunity for me to adjust some of my Rebel MCU lists just to gain a little bit of that.
No, you wouldn't have to worry about it because I won't be choosing that objective.
Well, yeah, but John, I don't always play against you. I mean, most of my games I play against you, but that's beside the point. Again, going slow here in round 2, but they're talking to a judge. Rules clarifications on attacks. They were just looking for a clarification on attack order.
That debris, that dust cloud, is in the way of everyone's way, which means that it was placed probably in a good way.
If you have that much consternation looking at one of the obstacles on the field, I'm inclined to agree with you. Which puts it to kind of a fun spot.
Yeah, so
they're currently conversing here. Nick is with Dennis, our head judge. I think they're specifically looking on interactions with the cards of what could happen. It's going to probably impact how Nick moves the Providence.
yes.
About 50 minutes into the round. Current game is 10-0.
Right. Providence being the primary damage dealer and the most expensive part of his fleet, it's important for him to get it into a good position at this time so that hopefully a good positioning now could cascade to the end for him.
We made a decision. Are we going straight? We're not. We are maybe left, right, up, down. BA, select, start. Konami code.
Let's see what speed he's going to be moving. He's jumping all
Jumping
the
up
way
to 3.
3.
That is a setup for an attack, definitely next round.
He is second player, though. So,
You move the assault frigate first, but then you're forcing the order of how you want your opponent to
right.
move.
And then, do I have a laser? No.
Looking for a laser. Getting pulled out.
Judge's laser. They're right now trying to decide if line of sight goes over that dust field, because it may completely block out the attack.
Do they have anything going over this way? That definitely looks to be obstructed just based on where the laser's pointing. But let's see if we get a slightly better angle. I don't know that we can.
No, I don't think so. We'll find out what the players have agreed on. Okay.
Oh, we've got a judge call. Judge is going to come in and look at obstruction.
Yeah.
So
it
it's
will
obstruction
depend.
and range.
Yeah, because if it is obstruction, then there is no attack.
Right.
Okay, they're ruling it obstructed. Both
Okay.
unobstructed into
Wow.
that side.
That dust cloud and the placement that they have between those line of sight dots. Lucky. That is really good placement of that Providence.
Okay, we're now on to squads for round 2. Placement of
Moving
these
along.
squads is going to be important for how this goes.
So I'm going to showcase this here. We have your line of sight dots. I really wish I could draw a line here. Your line of sight dots from the Providence are going to start here. But when shooting to this MC30 over here, we have a clear line of sight. It is unobstructed with the dust cloud. And then moving to shoot into the side of this assault frigate, also able to do so. So excellent placement here. This dust cloud is not going to have a negative impact on the shots from the Providence, at least not at this time. Grievous is up against Admiral Akbar. It is unobstructed, clear shots in both cases. Tycoon Sharam being moved. Dustfield ruling once again. Shots from the Providence to the side of the assault frigate and the side of the MC30 are clear. And now we begin the, I'm going to call it tedious effort of moving 6 million droid squadrons.
I believe those are all hyenas that are being currently moved.
Actually, Tim, you know, if you would like, we can go through these lists because this is going to take a few moments for decisions to be made on where squadrons are going to get moved. So we'll just kind of showcase them up here on the screen. Quick go through them. I'll go through Nicholas's list here. Providence Carrier with General Grievous, Rune Hakau, Thermal Shields, Intensify Firepower, Boosted Comms, External Racks, Point Defense Ion Cannons, the H9 Turbo Lasers, the Invincible title, which is what allows us to have Early Warning System on the Providence. Early Warning System, by the way, is on the front of the Providence. Hard Cell Transport with Hondo Onaka and Projection Experts, along with Bomber Command Center. And we have another Gazanti cruiser, the Sea Rocks, with TI-99, Watambor DFS 311, 4 Hyena bombers, and 6 Vulture droid squadrons. Reviewing David's list.
Yeah, for David's list, we have an Assault Frigate Mark IIB with Admiral Akbar, Intel Officer, Caitlin and Sholin, Electronic Countermeasures, and Slave Turrets. We have an MC-30 Scout Frigate with Expert Shield Techs, Ordnance Experts, External Racks, and H9 Turbo Laser Towers with the Foresight title. We have 2 GR-75 medium transports, both with ComsNet. The first one has Hondo, though. For squadrons, we have Lando, Jan, Shara, Tycho, and 3 YT-2400s.
And just so you guys are aware, that was some squadron shots into the side, YT-2400 into the side of the assault frigate.
And we're seeing a salvo.
There's the salvo.
One against that YT-2400.
That's right. YT-2400s are rogue. So, Strawberry Vibes, we were actually talking about that with the judges just the other day. Specifically, John's, I think it was 18 Z95 list.
It was something insane.
And, yeah, he activated all of them in one turn. That was a story that we were telling not that long ago. I think it was yesterday. And sharing that. That is actually, if you go check out our 3-year anniversary show, there is a supercut of John making those activations. Again, I think this is going to be, and John and I were talking about this, we do believe that this is going to wind up being a squadron battle where you really have, you're expecting to see it, but then, you know, the CIS players keeping all the squadrons hiding in the back there. So I'm not sure if they're going to come and pounce or...
You can get... I counted and then I just immediately forgot. I believe 17 with then Blount, so...
Nope, just slight movements up. More squadron movement over here. Let's see if we get another YT attack.
So Nick actually has put the Rebel player in a hard position here. Because if the Rebel player decides to activate his Assault Frigate first, then he can just completely unload into him with the front and the side into the side of that Assault Frigate. But if he decides to go with the Assault Frigate first, then he can move the Providence away and the MC-30 probably won't have a shot on it.
Yeah, I'm sitting here looking at the field and agreeing with you. And David is first player, so that's going to be a tough...
It's going to be a very difficult decision for him.
Occasionally, folks, we are going to crouch down when we're talking potential strategy here. We do not want to have any influence on the players at all. Who is playing? What's the mission? Who's first? Etc. Calm, because we are in the middle of squadron phase. We're going to tell you. We are currently in round 2. This is a squadron phase of round 2. Lando being moved forward. We have Nick is second player at the top of your screen with General Grievous and a CIS fleet. David is first player, Admiral Akbar at the bottom here. And we are playing close range intel scan YT 2400's moving. Current score is 10-0 with one victory point being the only score on the board. We are about an hour into the first round. It's about an hour left to go before we call no new rounds. Hour 15 before the game officially, or the round officially ends. The next round 15 minutes after that.
Correct.
A lot of measuring here, trying to figure out where things are going to go. I have my suspicions, John, that this game may not quite make round 6.
I would agree with you on that. But it's also hard to tell, because as soon as dice start getting thrown, things can be changed immediately.
That is very true, and I can see.
We could see in an instant the Providence or the Assault Frigate get evaporated. That would change the entire course of the game to be a more quick-based game, because there's just less to think about and less still on the table.
Here's Shar moving forward. A lot of fun things going on here, mostly squadron movement. John and I are going to try our best to fill up our time here so that you guys can be entertained, not listening to just a blank broadcast. Special shout out to both Will Schick and Dallas Kemp for coming on the channel the first 2 days. Two really exciting personalities from Atomic Mass Games. Will gave us some information on the errata that we had received about, what was that, October, I think? They were looking at the different data and information to kind of better balance the game. And I think, along with most people, we're going to all agree that Armada is in a very good balanced spot right now.
Yes,
and, of course, we're all hoping for some new things. We have a dice roll here, finally. Here's an attack of Vulture. And we see 1, 2. Was it just 1? Can't see that last. I think it's just 1.
That is
Just 1.
a YT. Yes, that Vulture only has 1 health left now. But that was a YT, I believe, moving in to do the rogue attack.
Do the rogue attack, of which there are 3 YTs. So not destroyed. We're not going to use any Grievous capability, but I don't know that Grievous has a use right now. I think all the defense tokens are still there. Those dice, John, you know dice.
I don't know dice.
You don't
Adrian's
know.
the person
Adrian
that
knows
knows
those dice.
Those are the Jolly Rancher dice,
The Jolly
as they're
Rancher
referred
dice.
to. And they are one of the original OP kits way back in the day, or World event. I'm not a collector of dice. I'm the collector of cards. So
That's right. Each member of our Ion Radio team has a different judge call. Okay, so Watt trying to skirt the dust field to engage squadrons. We're asking Adrian right here about dice. Adrian is our dice expert.
people are just wondering where. They're from 2018 regional.
2018 region.
Those are the 2018 regional dice.
This is what's great is as soon as we asked Adrian the question, he's like, "Oh, I know the answer to that."
Yeah.
Adrian is the master of dice on the channel. John knows his cards remarkably well. There are different OP kits with range rulers and different world championships with different rulers. And Garrett knows those like the back of the hand, almost to, well, this one's 3 millimeters shorter than this one.
Yes.
Ryan, we know, has some good understanding of a lot of the specifically Radis and Rebel strategies. I, on the other hand, just have the radio voice, and my job is to
keep the rest of us in line.
Keep the rest of you guys in line, control the camera boards and everything else. Where are people in chat currently around the world? Where are you listening to us from? Okay, I can be the 1980s Droids and Ewoks TV specialist.
You might be the only person that has seen it.
I would like to think not.
Watambor engaged on both sides of that debris field. So he's just sitting right there,
waiting
engaging
for
everyone that's on both sides of it. That is a beautiful placement.
It really is. It really is.
Let's jump to the top view just so we can see a little
bit
that
placement.
More. Yeah, so he's just sticking out on the other side so he can engage squadrons that are going to try to move in and attack the Providence's side there. Yep, exactly.
Let's, in fact, here, we're going to do this. There he is, right there. This is the new feature we've got for this year. We did promise you a telestrator, and just to make sure that Garrett does not get in trouble for touting that, we do have one. It does work. The problem that we have with it is because of the connections here in the hotel, we're only able to get one cable to plug the computer system in. The other one is not functioning the way we need it to, and we cannot connect the Wi-Fi into the hardwired network. So unfortunately, we cannot get that functioning for you this year. But we do know what equipment we need to make it work next year. So that will be coming in 2025. Hello from all over the place, from Germany, Australia, Arkansas, Washington State, Maryland, Miami, all over the world, country here, Poland, Spain, Central Illinois, so not too far away. More from Poland, France, Canada. Welcome to our entire international audience here. Armada is one of these great communities where we just see people throughout the world coming into play. I think we're about to go here, and we're dials for turn 3. We are. So turn 3, going into the second, not second half, but the middle part of this game. About an hour 8 in.
That's funny. Ryan's letting us know where he's watching us from, or hopefully just listening because he's driving. He's on I-65 South, which is one of my least favorite expressways. I don't know if you have opinions on expressways, but that is one of my least favorite.
The only thing I like about I-65 South is it's relatively flat. And the gas mileage I get going down to Indianapolis from Chicago is pretty good.
I have a dislike for it because I've had to drive on it when the weather has been less than normal. Mm-hmm. And I was at actually a regional event it was in Indianapolis, and I was driving back that night, and it was some of the thickest pea soup fog I've ever been in my entire life. So I was white knuckling it the entire way back to Chicago in this. You couldn't see anything. You could only see, the reflectors on the road? You could see maybe 2 reflectors in front of you.
Wow.
So then you're just driving, and then it's a bridge. And there's no lights because it's just farmland that you're driving on, and barely any guardrails. It was a stressful trip back home.
All right, CIS Hondoing taking a squad and a navigate here at the top of turn 3. Giving a confire and engineering to our rebel player. Confire is going to go on to the MC30, and then the engineering is going to go on to the Hondo GR75. Find out the specifics here on the CIS side. EWS has been moved to the right side of the Providence. which makes sense because that's the exposed side.
Yes, it is.
Hong Kong and in Mexico, intensify firepower being powered up. And can Ryan Radis drop back to Kentucky? All we can say is I think Ryan's still in turn 1 on his trip home, so you never Radis drop often on turn 1. Ryan likes to wait until turn 4 to do that impressive Radis drop, so I suspect he'll be right there at the border before he does that.
We're going to start with the Salt Frigate. It has concentrate fire and taking it as the dial. So we're going to be seeing a shot here. And he has a squadron token that he will be using.
Going to get some of those squadrons initially moving. That is a line of droid fighters that has me a little bit worried, John. Sitting right there staring down. That's just a lot. Protecting that hard cell.
Have to see which fighter he decides to move.
A lot of thinking going on in this game. We are going to go ahead and take this moment to say that this game is sponsored by Tame & Bach, who are manufacturers of the DBY 827 heavy turbo laser turrets. Looking at ranges and trying to determine best course of attacks. Beautiful Sunday morning here in Chicago. It's overcast.
And cold.
Cold, windy. Can't wait to pack everything up, put them in the car, and head back home today, John.
Yeah. We have a lot to do as soon as the stream's done.
Yeah, we really do.
What makes it complicated as well is that some of these things that we use here live at your house.
Yep.
And some of them live at my house.
Yep.
And we may not know until next week where things need to go.
But special thanks to Adrian, who also lives in the area. He's going to help us out and bring some of the heavy equipment with us. Garrett's been great to help both with setup, and I'm sure he'll stick around to help us take things down.
It was really nice to have Ryan with us yesterday broadcasting.
Mm-hmm.
He was competing in day 1.
He was?
And just barely missed the cut.
Right. And I should point out that Ryan did help with setup and takedown the past few days. So it's been great to have him give us that assistance. Still figuring out what we're doing here. Waiting for something from the field, but at this point we're just thinking.
I believe that's going to be Jan Ors moving in to gain grit.
Jan Ors.
To those other squadrons because they are locked down now.
Yep.
With Wat Tambor right there.
Which again, incredible movement there with Wat Tambor.
And with the intel change, it doesn't give the enemy squadrons heavy anymore. What it does is it gives your squadrons in distance 1 grit. And grit allows you to move even though you're engaged if you're engaged by only 1 fighter.
Side to front, evil thermal. Bring the red out.
side to front. Thermal, 1 blue, 1 red pulled out. We've got 2 hits and an accuracy.
So intel officer has been placed on the redirect.
Here's the Akbar and the
Akbar
Confire.
and slave turrets.
Intel the redirect. Was that slave turrets? Ah, yeah,
Yes.
slave turrets.
This is Confire coming in.
Yeah, here's the Confire. Kicking and shoaling the blank. Stays as a blank. 3 accuracies. That was a double, though. Yeah, that bounced, so. We do have the instant replay, which helps. Accuracy, or salvo, and the contain. Not spending on tokens. Got a shield update. Looks like stuff is pulled off the front. 1 shield left on the front.
Yeah. This is going to be an interesting move and decision.
We are, looks like they're moving some squadrons around so that they can better measure what's happening on the field. While we have a break in the action, just as a reminder, this broadcast is copyright by Ion Radio, LLC. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. This is round 2, or round 1 of the day. Round 3 in this game. I'm going to take this opportunity, John. I think I'm going to make myself a fresh cup of coffee because the one I currently have is empty. So, folks, I'm going to let John talk to you guys for a moment while I go and get a refill here of my coffee. So stand by. I will return momentarily.
And I think what we're going to be seeing here is what the Rebel player is debating is where he can move his ship that he can possibly start getting shots on either the hard cell or the Providence, depending on how the Providence moved. This is a cat and mouse game that's going to be played around that dust field there. So we see some squad markers going out. And then we can see where the ship placement is, and we're going to probably be displacing quite a few squadrons. He is slowing down to speed 1, and there is 1 hour remaining is what the judge call just was. Okay. There we go. That is the movement there. Looks like we're getting a line of sight adjustment. And then squadrons have to go back around. That was, I believe, no line of sight to the front of the assault frigate from the Providence, but I will get a ruling from the table. I am trying to remain, you know me, if you've watched any of our videos, I am pretty loud, but I'm trying my hardest to remain as quiet as possible because of how close we are to these players, and I don't want to give anything away from me asking a question to our crew that's out here, Adrian and Garrett, or just in our discussion with Ken. So that's why I'm a little bit more on the quiet side.
I, on the other hand, I'm just going to be nice and loud and obnoxious for the folks at the table. No, I'm just kidding. A lot of what I'm saying really is going to have very little impact on what the players are doing. I'm mostly reporting in on what is going on and whatnot. So we have a squadron dial.
Coming from the hard cell.
I have a fresh cup of coffee. That'll keep me going for the next few rounds.
What I think should happen, I'll just quickly go over what I think game plan for both of these players are. The Providence needs to slip by, take out the two transports, which it should be easily able to do with H9s, and clean up squadrons and make a clean getaway. What the Rebel player here needs to do is he needs to circle around, take out the hard cell, and try to take out the Providence and see if he can get fighter superiority. Either of those things could go either of those players' way, but that's the road to victory for both those players from what I can see. Because if we look at the, can we quickly go over to the hard cell? The hard cell, I need to see the cost of it.
You got a
Cost
Vulture
63
squadron
points,
here.
so if you could pick up a couple squadrons, those transports and the squadrons will pretty much equal themselves out.
We actually have a shot here. YT 2400, Vulture into the YT 2400, and make sure they get you the right bit. We're clearing the dice tray. And AI adding in a black. There's two. Here's the swarm for an accuracy.
Two
So
against
two
the YT.
against the YT 24, or yeah, the YT
I believe
2400.
that's the one that got shot earlier, so this might bring it down then to 3 health if GN does not do her thing.
Yep.
Yep. Cool. So Jan braces that to help keep those tinky squads alive better.
So yeah. John is got to take a quick phone call, so it's just me sitting here. So we're gonna have some fun. I'm gonna respond to a thing that was said earlier, that really the key here is that here Ion Radio has a special fleet command card called Coffee to Maximum, and Adrian and I make use of that quite a bit. It happens every single round, although we alternate which round. Adrian uses it on round 1, I use it on round 2, and we just go forward. So we're floating. John, so again, John's voice will carry a little bit differently than mine. So it's worth noting that with John, he does have to kind of keep his voice a little quiet, and his strategy that he's going to discuss will put, we don't want to have an influence on the players. The thing that we have to remember, and the folks at home have to remember, is that we really are spectators. Now here's the next shot. DFS into that same YT. There are 3 hits.
Wow.
And here's the AI red. There's another one. That's 4. I believe that will actually knock out.
Oh, man.
Ooh. Nick did a little dance. DFS doing his job. Long range front to front. There's 3. Those doubles are popping up. Jolly Rancher dice for the win. Evade the double, so only 1. Taking that on the front of the assault frigate. Is it exhausted or spent? The fleet command? Oh, we have tokens that we leverage for coffee, and that card does not ever exhaust. It's just a continuous, repetitive thing. Yes, Jeff, you are correct. Adrian's smiling over there. Adrian reminded me that we will occasionally use coffee and cholent to make sure that it stays readied for the entire game. Here's this hard sell maneuvering going around that battle line that's sitting there. They're going to mark some squadrons. Making his move.
Moving right into the front of that assault frigate.
Yeah, that's a risky move. Although then again, the side arcs on the assault frigates are really the mean ones.
Yes. Yes, it is going speed 3. And then it might also
keeping tabs on everything going around here at the tables. There are only 4 tables here at the top, in the top 8. We'll try and give you updates as we get them, although what we're going to do is wait till the end of the round. And we do that intentionally. The reason we do this intentionally is we do not want to have any influence on the scores of the players that are here. Still in turn 3. Hour and a half in, so we're at about 45 minutes left to go in this round.
I don't think anything has so far gotten destroyed.
I don't think so.
I think things have come close to being destroyed.
We have, I think the 1 YT is probably hurting. I think we have a vulture on 1 hall.
So far, the only thing that has been scored has been a 10-point victory token for the objective close to range intel scan.
Determining where fighters are going to land and where they can attack. Got a lot of thought going into this game. Both players trying to achieve that edge to be able to move forward. going to showcase this real quick. I don't know if we can do this or not, but we're going to.
The
Hondo
GR
GR75.
taking a squadron, taking it as a dial.
Real quickly, we're going to showcase. This is the 2024 World Champion. Hang on, let me try to get that trophy that they're going to get. And the head judge, Dennis, did say that we can use that as a concentrate fire token during the game.
Yes. So if you win this, it is a major flex for you when you are playing.
Yeah.
It's also was ruled that Tycho is moving, attacking the 1 health Pelta, and
He uses Grievous to refresh Brace.
yes, Grievous is, because that squadron died and is in range of Grievous's flagship, Grievous is refreshing his brace.
This is some heavy squadron play. Given the spot we're in, I fully suspect us to make it into round 4. Going beyond that, I'm getting concentrate fire as a token.
So I believe right now it's currently a 3-point game, 7 points to 10 points.
Well, for taking out the one vulture.
Correct. Or they're 8 points, right? Yeah, I can't math this early in the morning. So it's a 2-point game. Squadron is being done on the Gazanti, taking it as a dial, and probably going to be maneuvering some fighters around.
Taking again more measurements. I'm going to go back to this overhead view because we've got this squadron battle in the middle.
Hidden by all of the ships on the side.
I mean, really, yeah. I don't know that we can even get a good view in here. Here's our attack.
It's a vulture.
Yeah.
And that kills off the YT. That's 1 YT down.
Keeping your eyes here on all the action here. Vulture going into Tycho. It's 1 AI in the blue. 4-2. Swarm, 2 damage. Tycho scatters.
Scattering it. And then there will be a counter.
There's a counter that looks to be...
Very accurate. Can you
Yeah.
spend those for the close intel scan?
I don't think so. I think you...
Yeah, no, you can't. I'm just joking.
Yeah, it's when the ships go in. I had to go look it up, John, because for a second I had a brain fart. Couldn't remember. Goes her Rams into the Providence, taking damage on itself.
The other GR75 takes a navigate and takes it as a dial, and it's going to try to get on.
Just get out of there, yeah. That is a... You know, at a game here where we are dealing right now, John, with some very close scores, last thing you need to do is give up a Gazanti for free. Now, granted, these are only 22 points, but this can be something where that will flip you from a 6-5 to a 7-4. So the question that came out in the field, what happens if a game finishes before 6 rounds? So it's not so much if the game, if a game finishes before 6 rounds because someone's lost all their ships or something, the game's over. I think we're specifically looking at what happens with time
being called.
So at the 2-hour mark, which is going to happen in approximately 25 minutes, then no new rounds will be allowed to be started, and the game will continue to the end of that round. And then whatever the score is at that point is the score. If time is called and you are in the middle of a round, you just keep going until that round is concluded. So if you're in table 6, you will get time to do that. Now, once the 2 hours and 15 minutes end, it could be a judge call to dice down, and you compute the score at that time, but usually they'll give a few more minutes, 5 to 10, to finish that round.
Sometimes starting rounds take a very long time to finish,
Right.
and it will delay the entire tournament, which is one of the reasons why they are using that rule set for this tournament.
Right. You don't want to be in a position where you have tournament rounds scheduled, and then let's say you have one table that takes 3 hours to finish a game, and everyone else is just sitting there for an hour and a half waiting for the results to be able to move on. That's why there's a timed component in here.
Yeah, it's a respect for the other players in the tournament.
So to answer Steven's question, now that we're on day 3, are we excited to do this again next year? We would like to do this again next year, but of course we have to be invited back by Atomic Mass Games and AdeptiCon. So that will be something that in probably about 9 or 10 months we'll know. But we are definitely willing to do it. We enjoy what we do. I heard Rune Hakau maybe being leveraged here. We're going to get a report here from Adrian. Confire from Rune and Squadron Dial.
Yep, so Rune Hakau takes off the Confire from itself. And this is round 4 now. And is doing a squadron
We are in
command.
round 4? I think we're only in round 3 still. Yeah,
3?
we're only in round 3.
My. I was miscounting.
Yeah, no, we're still mid-activations here, John. Ooh, what do we have here? We had a shot. This looks like a vulture.
Going against Tycho.
2.
No scatter.
Scattered
Take 2.
against Tycho. Block
Raise
the
it
scatter.
to 1, and now that is Tycho on 4 health, I believe.
3 health.
3.
Starts with
Sorry.
4.
Yeah.
There's the counter.
1 damage back. And Nick isn't really that worried about sending his fighters in to do damage and die, because Grievous allows him to refresh.
Yeah, and that's kind of what you want to do. Here's another vulture. Coming in. Looking to probably, he wants to take down Tycho.
Here we
Okay,
go.
here's that shot. 1 AI, nothing.
Swarm. 2 black scatter. So he can spend out the brace. And now he's half health, so he's on 2.
Yep. There's
the
a counter.
Very accurate counter.
We've seen a couple rolls like that already. Gilmore DK, I just added in. This we're seeing Nicholas and David playing. We're in turn 3. Nick is flying a Grievous fleet. David's flying an Akbar fleet. Score is pretty close, 26-8, based on what we can tell so far. Side to side, unobstructed. There's Intensify, H9. I believe we're probably going to spend that to get another token.
He scatters that away.
Here we go, front to front, side to front.
Side to front of the AF. That's the one that they were measuring earlier, just to see what it
That's a
looked
lot
like.
of dice.
Looks like all pretty much single hits are crit. Intensify.
Intensify, H9. There's another
Spend it
token.
out.
Here's where the points start to accumulate.
Yep, so that's 5 damage. So that's like the most annoying form of damage. Like all your odd numbers.
Right.
Looks like we're redirecting it over
Brace
to the
hand
left
redirect,
side.
yeah. Yep, brace hand redirect. Okay, we're going to get a
We're
shield
getting a
update
shield update
on
on
the
it.
MC-30. Or not the MC-30, on the assault frigate here. Stand by. So 1 on the front from the assault frigate, 2 on the left, 3 on the right, and 2 on the rear. So the ones that are impacted were the front and the left. But that is definitely some serious damage on that assault frigate.
Navigate token is going to drop the Providence to speed 2.
So we lost about 50%, a little bit more than 50% of those shields on the assault frigate.
It's a decent hit. And because the assault frigate has ECM, keeping that accuracy in there would not really have done anything.
No. So tossing that out, getting the points. Again, I think this is, now we're starting to see how Nick plays and accumulates his score. We're already at 46 points for Nick. And Providence moves on. Now that I think might be blocked by the dust cloud there. Now I'm going to see if we got an angle that might tell us a little bit more to that story. But there is so much in the center that I'm not sure we're going to get a good view. Cycle through all our cameras here. MC-30, navigate, taking it as a dial. Yep. Couple bumps here, that's all right. I think they're going to call for a judge here on shots and line of sight. Yep, there's judge call. Looking to see if that shot's obstructed. So stand by. We got a judge call. Well, here's another thing we need to do next year, John. We need to have a splash screen that go judge call.
Add that to the list.
Yes.
So we are here trying to determine if this line of sight from the scout frigate to the front of the Providence is good, and if it's obstructed. It is obstructed from that asteroid. So that will be one of those starts with 1 dice and then you Akbar in more dice. So technically the order that would take place is you start with 2, thermal down to 1, and then obstruction.
Right. Clearing dice tray, we're going to make this shot. I think they're going to flak out the front first, maybe.
Yeah. 30 minutes are
30
left to this
30
match.
minutes are left. I'm questioning now, are we going to get to round 4?
That's going to be very close. They have 15 minutes to get to round 4.
Yeah.
I think this
So
is
that's
the
a
last
blank.
ship to activate. And then squadrons.
Right. Well, so that's where we've been taking a lot of time here, is with squadrons. This is all flak accuracy being rolled there. Really didn't see any damage occurring to any of these up front squadrons.
Let's see where this ship decides to drop itself. I have a feeling this day is going to go by extremely quickly.
Yeah, we're already at 9:45 in the morning. And where it's going to slow down, John, is going to be when we start taking everything apart. And they want to kick us out of the hall early.
Yes. Where this 30 gets positioned will matter for really the next turn if we get there, and then activation order with that.
Still watching here what we've got. MC30 making a decision on where it's going to move, how it's going to move, what it's going to move. And you know what? I'm going to take this opportunity while we're waiting for a move to happen to special shout out to my wife, my son for, well, my wife for letting me be here all weekend long, taking care of our dogs and our cats, and saying hello to both her and my son. So hello here from Schaumburg. You know, it's been great to be able to be out here. I do miss them very much, though.
Yeah, same here. I miss my son and wife as well. I have to really thank Riley because she's at home with a toddler alone. So that is a lot that she's taken on so that I could be here. And I really miss my little guy. So Ken, you are one of the few people that he knows by name that's not family. You and Paul Conrad from WGN News, oddly enough. But when he's watching us on the stream, you know, he knows me, Dada's talking, and then he also knows you. So when we're just talking on stream and our faces aren't on it, he starts looking around the house for us, apparently. Like, where are these two? They're here all the time. Where are they? So
I wonder if he's wandering around your house right now looking for us.
He might be. We're looking at the doors like, he should be coming through this door then. Where is he?
We do have a lot of fun out here, though, folks, and we do this for the community. It's important for us to give you guys this AdeptiCon experience from all over the world. We saw earlier today where everyone was connecting from. And this is a treat for us to be able to provide all of this to you guys. Again, the serious thought being put into these decisions, trying to figure out exactly where to place your ship, where to move. I'm looking at the player faces, and you can see them. Their foreheads are wrinkled. They're seriously thinking hard to understand what this next move is, how best to adjust their ships, where to put their squadrons to be in a protected spot, this is where we're at.
We are counting and making sure all the speed dials now are set to the proper places.
Yeah, I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more speed coming in here to rush in. No, I'm not. I think they're. Yeah, I think a token got slipped underneath the ship there, hockeyed underneath. Thank you, Social General Rob. Really appreciate it. We've got a great team out here. We really do, and everyone's been willing to help out with everything from being in the broadcast booth to setup and takedown to relaying information, getting the players understanding what we can and cannot do on stream. Here's our shot here. It's 3 that removes one of the, I think a hyena, or that was Shara killed a vulture.
Yeah, so we're going to start seeing the squadron battle for the rest of this round, round 3, commence.
YT on the vulture. At least we think that's what's going to happen. Okay, shot is 1, I think just 1.
It looked like 1 hit. Watambor is now activating. Watambor
into the YT. Watt fires with 2 blues and 2 blacks. 2 hits into the YT. I think that's got to be down to probably 2 now.
Well, a YT was destroyed.
Right.
It's on
4 left on
now,
that
so now
YT.
it's a full health one.
Yeah.
A lot of squadrons are... Ooh, a hyena gets moved onto the rock. That's setting up for later movements to possibly go in and bomb something. Here's another attack. Looks like 3 and an accuracy. I do not know.
YT into DFS?
Or Watt. We're not quite positive. We will see when the defense tokens start getting spent or if there's re-rolling that takes place. Because of screen. Yes, it is.
It's Watt.
So he's
Dodge
dodging 2.
3 hits. Brace.
Brace it to 2. That brings Watt down to, I believe, 3 health.
Okay, Lando.
Lando against Watambor.
Lando is 2 blues, a red, and a black.
He's attacking, I believe, a normal hyena.
There's 2.
Do you toss it to kill it, though?
Set 2, which cannot be taken away. So there's Lando's special.
Yep.
Okay, re-rolling the 2.
This is against Watambor.
Still taking 3.
Burn the brace.
Brace it to 2.
I believe that puts him on 1 health then.
I think you're right.
Yeah. He wasn't able to re-roll the double because of Lando special ability.
They're moving the hyenas now.
So we're trying to figure out where these fighters are going. Players are preparing for round 4, but we might hit the cutoff before we hit there.
We're getting really close. Oh, we made it into round 4.
Round 4 is beginning right now. So this game is very much so going to be changing. A lot can happen in this round.
What's the shield situation on the assault frigate? If memory serves, I think we have 1 on the front, 2 on the left, and regular shields on the rest. Yes. We do not have the nifty ion radio graphics that we do round to round.
We do not have enough time to prepare those.
Well, I mean, we have them all set. It's more making the changes on the fly. When we have a team of 10 people, we'll be able to take care of that for you guys. Until then, let's just keep asking us the questions in the chat.
They are setting dials right now, and going to be going on to 4th round. I think we're going to see first the activation of
Hondo Squad and Nav. This is on David's side.
correct.
Codfire Engineering, go to Nick.
So he takes a... Just gets rid of it, the Confire. Does not need it. Judge behind you. Discarding Intensify because he knows that this is going to be the last round he needs to play in. Looks like he's moving it right now to early warning system to the rear.
MC30 showing a concentrate fire.
That's a pretty good roll.
Front to rear of the Providence, I believe.
That's got to be
Oh,
against
no,
the Hammerhead.
that's got to be the GR75. Yeah, front to front. Sorry, we're trying to look at things in various different angles. That is 5 hits, so we're probably gonna. There's an H9.
Evade the double, re-rolling it.
So
2
that's
damage.
2, so that'll go 1 in.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got 2 hull. Oh, right,
Yeah,
because
due
it was
to the
ram.
ram
That's
earlier.
right.
technically all that he needed for that.
Side to side
of the hard sell.
That's a heck of a hit. Here we got our accuracy and 4.
Sounds like we're going to be con-firing and using the token. Let's see what gets added in here. Con-fire token first. And then another double. Oh, an external Rex into this as well. Ooh, man.
8, 9, 9 and an accuracy.
An insane roll.
That hard sell, that's going into its side, isn't it?
Yes,
Evade
rerolling
to
and
reroll.
evade.
10. Oh, that's a 10. There's another one, so it's braced to 5. So that 4 goes in with a crit. I think the question comes down to
that's
4 cards with a crit. Crit is structural damage.
Structural,
it
that
goes
takes
up.
It out. Man. Wow.
Wow.
What
Structural damage takes down that hard sell. That is
insane.
That is going to change the mathematics here.
That is insane. Ken's favorite damage card has already shown its head as the first damage card shown on stream for this day 3.
Yeah. So first major hit. That is flipped the mathematics here in this game.
Significantly, especially because that Gazanti has only 1 health left.
And this is critical here, Casino. Well, actually, now I know what I would do here, and it looks like David might be thinking the exact same way.
Adjust speed, so he has to be able to land on it at speed 4.
Right. And speed 4 on a MC30 is no clicks, 1 click, 1 click, no clicks. So you have a limited amount of capability to land on. And if you can actually land on that, you will take no damage yourself. There goes the flotilla, and that Sea Rock's worth another 31 points.
Yes, it is.
And that will be enough to put David into 7-4 territory.
Making it barely into this last round, though. We had less than 2 minutes to go to
get into round 4.
Correct.
Yeah, so
to get called.
This wound up going from a 6-5 in favor of Nick to potential. Right now it's at a 6-5, I believe, going into David. But now the real question is, because ship being moved out of the way, we're going to see where the MC30 lands.
The official landing spot of it. I think it definitely rams. Oh my gosh. It does not.
No
ram and takes an asteroid.
Ouch.
That
hurts. That
kind of insane. That is crazy. Providence. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's funny. Garrett went over to look at the critical card that got pulled from the asteroid and looked at it, and it's in all Polish. So that did not help him at all. But he can't attack, I believe, at long range is the card that was.
Oh, I believe that's coolant discharge.
But it won't.
No, coolant discharge is performed each round. Only one can attack a ship.
Here's some more fighter attacking. Blocking scatter. Tycho was
dead.
just taken out by Squadron. He's going to counter. 2 damage. That Vulture takes 2 damage right there.
Ten more minutes left in the round.
Looks like Watambor is going to be attacking against, I believe, a YT. Or no, this is another Vulture.
Yeah, another Vulture. 2 more damage.
Janet down to 1, and I believe that YT's now on 3 health.
Yeah. Okay, firing at the same YT, another Vulture shot with the Swarm. There's 2. That brings the YT down to 1.
1.
Oh, there. Jan braces down to 1. So it's 2 left on that YT.
And now Watambor into them as well.
Okay, there's
there,
4 hits.
Even with Jan.
Yeah, that takes it out. So that's another 15 points?
16.
16 points.
Each of the YT 2400s is worth what's it called? 2 Vultures.
Yeah.
Watt is on the station, so that brings him back up to, I believe, 2 health now. Nothing else is really in flak range.
I think things are out of flak range, yeah. No, David was looking for a little bit of insurance there by taking out that Gazanti. But I believe the assault frigate still has to go yet, doesn't it?
It does.
Problem is that Dust Cloud might.
This is currently the Providence activation.
Mm-hmm.
So we will see if any of the flotillas get taken out by the Providence. And then, depending on what happens, depends on what the assault frigate can do. It might not even just be able to attack at all. Currently, the dust field is blocking line of sight from the. We see.
Shooting into the YT.
That's pretty
There's
good.
3.
That is. This is insane. So.
Wow.
The player Nick just said that he's never seen his. Which fighter is this again? This is the one no one ever uses.
This is DFS.
Yeah,
right.
DFS. Roll this well.
YT. Yeah, we're getting some updates here. It was a YT got removed from the board. But XRX, what's the current shot, Garrett? Side to rear. Oh, because you've got a rear shot arc there? Okay.
Confire token is being used. Intensify firepower.
H9 grabbing another, probably spending that to get a token maybe?
And that takes out the GR75. That is very close, but it is also very important for him to do. Now, shooting out the front into the side of that GR75 in front of them. If he can get enough damage into it that he can get it to 1 health, he can ram it and take it out. I think he might just straight take it
H9,
out.
that'll do it. You need 4 to do it.
Well, he can discard the evade to re-roll the reds.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
So if he can get 1,
Oh, jeez, yeah.
he flattens that GR.
Wow.
75.
Not what I was expecting.
So now he can move the Providence. Then the assault frigate has to go next. I think that when we get to the squadron phase is going to determine if there's any little bits of squadrons that are on low health, if those can be cleaned out.
I agree, and I think this is going to be a game of inches here. There are There's a lot out there that's got damage. I mean, we're not going to see another ship get destroyed.
No, I don't think
if we
so.
do, if we do, it's a lucky shot at that.
He can't make the attack
with
because of the debris field.
Debris field.
So, the Gazanti is safe because it gets to activate afterwards. Confire dial is being used by the assault frigate. I believe they're going to be flacking squadrons.
Flak first. There's one.
So, refreshing tokens. So, I believe Watambor gets his brace back. But
Okay. Another
concentrate
hit.
firing in.
There's two.
And that should leave it on 1 health, which is prime killing range for squadrons.
Right.
When they activate. We are now moving it, which may displace squadrons, so this will give Nick an advantage. Oh. Because the Gazanti has a squadron, so he can try to either move squadrons in to engage things, or if they are near the squadron with intel and only engaged by one, maybe moving them away to do it. But I have a feeling he's going to try to just
Take out a couple more squadrons, get a few more points.
exactly, because there are the YT-24 on, I believe, only 3 health there.
Yeah, there's one, maybe 2 of them left. I think there's.
Yeah.
We're gonna see if we can't get Garrett to let us know.
Attacking that YT that's on 3.
Okay. Attacking
Accuracy?
the YT.
Nothing. I believe those are hyenas coming in for those attacks.
Yeah.
And that's why we're not seeing additional dice
Right.
being added
So
in.
you've got the AI adding a die against ships, but not squadrons.
Side to front.
There's one. Going up against assault frigate. 1 shield off. Front to front, another shot. We've got a crit.
Yep. Just taking the attacks. Sometimes even
redirect
though
that, I think?
you know this is the last round, you should still play the game as if you're going into other rounds.
Yes.
Just so then you are getting that quote unquote mind, brain, muscle memory of what you should be doing in each step of the game.
Mm-hmm. And we're watching here what we've got.
I believe this is the last game that is currently going on.
Shara into the vulture. 1 die get thrown clear off the table.
But only needed 1 hit.
Right.
Killed it.
So this is the last game currently going on. So when this game finishes, they'll need to tabulate the scores and enter them to get the round 2 matchups. When that takes place, we'll have to figure out which game will be on stream, and we will also need to...
That is 2
Is
hits, 3 hits.
And that killed out, I believe, the ace that I never remember the name of.
DFS 311,
Correct.
I think.
And then we'll need to reset the whole streaming table so we can get to the next match, which will be very shortly after this stream ends. We'll be almost immediately starting the next one.
Right. Here's Lando.
Lando does Lando things. Okay, we have a handshake.
We have a handshake.
And the end of the game. So we're going to be now waiting for the final scores.
So stand by here as we wait and get those final scores. I'm hoping that we can get them relatively quick. We have an idea of what they are. We've been kind of keeping tabs on the scores ourselves, but we don't know for sure that what we have is the correct information. So but without, we don't want to sit there and make an assumption here because there might be something we missed or whatnot.
Yes. Sometimes
yeah.
we consider players have gained victory tokens when they haven't or forgotten. So
Right.
we can't say this is what the score is until they themselves have determined what it is.
Correct.
And put it on their paper to submit to the judges.
And once again, making sure that we recap here. This is David flying an Akbar list, who is first. We have Nick, who's second player, flying Grievous. They're playing close range intel scan. So victory tokens are going to play into this, each victory token being worth 10 points. We have definitely gotten to the end of the round, so I believe official time is now over.
Yes.
In fact, the judges called that about 60 seconds ago. So once we get this final score, we are going to relay this back to you. We're starting to get information, and I'm glad that I did not actually give you my numbers because my numbers were wrong.
Wow.
That
is
is
insane.
That is insane. So here we go. We've got Nick with 120 points. I believe 30 of those are from victory tokens. And David, on the other hand, has 100 Nick for a 6-5 victory here in the first round. So this one only got into turn 4.
Yes,
for
barely
our first
got
game.
into turn 4.
Barely got by about 3 minutes, I think
Yes.
we were figuring. So this is where we're at. So oddly enough, had it ended in round 3 or in round 4, the score would have been roughly the same.
Roughly the same, correct.
So
They both picked up about the same amount of points between themselves
Right.
in round 4.
Right. So that's kind of where we're ending things here. We don't have the full standings for you at this time. We will get that information to you shortly. But what we are going to do here is we are going to end this stream so that we can prep for the next one as soon as we have the players and the tables and whatnot. So real quickly, recap: 120 to 111 in favor of Nick. That's a 6-5 victory. And on behalf of John, Garrett, and Adrian, I'm Ken saying so long from the Hyatt Regency Hotel here in Schaumburg, where you've been watching the 2024 Star Wars Armada World Championship at AdeptiCon.
Okay, see you guys in a bit.